There you go. Good morning, guys. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a nice weekend. I was just saying, if you're wondering why I've got a skinhead, it's because I had a bit of hair moved around, and it's actually healed already, so it's a little bit red, but very, very happy. And we got a lot going on in the market, so if you guys are looking at anything in the markets or looking at any setups, let us know. We are streaming this out to the interweb as well, so we're bringing in a wider audience today, just because, well, there's a lot going on and I felt like it. So if you guys are looking at anything, morning Kamani, Belgin, Daniel White's here, Duncan's here, Paul Smith, Eric, Chris, David Mackey, all the usual suspects. So if you're looking at anything, let me know. If not, then just feel free to chip in whenever you feel like it. We're streaming this onto Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn, ShareVision, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Tier 1 trading all at once. So hopefully, wherever you're watching from, let us know, and we'll bring you into the chat here. Couple of things we are looking at. Okay, so you guys should be able to see the screen about now. Couple of things we've been looking at. Before I get stuck into kind of the opportunities for this week, I wanted to just leave the indicators on the screen, just so I could share with you what we were looking at last week and what played out, what didn't play out, so that we can really, adapt if we need to, or maybe still look at the same setup. But there were some beautiful setups that actually played out last week and early this week as well. So let's take a quick look. Aussie CAD on the daily. Wasn't looking at too much on the Aussie pairs, to be honest, but we've had a break and close below on the Aussie dollar. So potential shorting opportunity for me today, if we can get a nice little pullback. We had a real nice short on the pound dollar that played out perfectly. And, I always talk to you guys about optimized target taking. Look at where the target was and look at what price started to do at that level. It literally hit it like a wall. If you just bring on the horizontal line here and I show you where this big bearish candle closed, it is spot on the pip of the target. And then just after that, we move sideways, we move sideways, we move sideways. And that should reinforce the importance of putting as much effort into your target taking orders as it should you getting in and being right. All right, they're all orders. They're all the same thing. Stop loss orders, target orders, and entry orders, they're all the same thing. So you have to put as much effort into each order as you in all of your orders. Euro dollar bounced off of this lovely little support level looking left. Okay, we've held that looking left. The better area, or the higher probability areas down here, starting at about 0443, but we did have support at that level. We did find support at that level. The pound Aussie beautifully bounced off of that previous support level, put this pin bar in here, or this low test candle, and then rallied to the upside to retest the highs. So well done. If you caught that, you actually got a higher close. Well, you got this fake break on the 60, and you also got a 3-bar reversal set up on the hourly. So if you trade 3-bar reversals, hourly time frame, there was your entry at a pin bar, 3-bar reversal. You would have got in next bar market at 72.90, and then you would have taken your orders long. So well done if you caught that. What else? Pound yen. Pound yen pulled into the kill zone, started to roll over. It's just about hit targets. If you was front running your orders, you might have hit targets already, or you might just be waiting for price to fill your order. And if you're trading the extension here, then you're still in it. But ultimately, what this setup was a head and shoulders. Okay, so you'd have to be really aggressive to be in it already as a head and shoulders. We're basically waiting for the break of this horizontal neckline. Okay, horizontal neckline. That has to break. Dollar yen is doing its thing. We saw resistance up here. I put this trade out for you guys last week as a real high probability setup because we've tested a resistance level that we hadn't tested since 2002. As we approach that level, we had this really nice retest that just so happened to be the completion point of a cipher pattern, rolled over, hit targets on that. So if you caught that, well done. You might even still be in this, and we'll talk about why in just a moment. New Zealand dollar, we're looking for shorts today, and I'll come back to this one at the end and see how we can get involved in this. Other things to pay attention to, if you're familiar with the FTB setups, euro dollar, there's an FTB for some of you here, you're already in it. This was the FTB signal right here. So you would have placed your sell stop order at 57.20s, something like that, and you're already triggered into that right now. And I believe it's the same on the pound dollar, you're triggered in. So you've got an opportunity for an FTB on both of those. FTB means follow the bear, and you are in that trade right there. So lots going on, lots played out, lots of opportunity, trades already in the play. So if you guys have got anything, let me know. If not, I'm going to make my way through these pairs now, the same way we always do. Daily top-down analysis, daily 4 hour 60. I may go down to the 15 if I feel there's a decent day trading opportunity, just to show you guys I won't be taking any day trades. And I'll also be sharing with you how you can use some of those lower time frames for potential trade execution and trade management as well. Trailing stops, getting tighter stop loss positioning, all that kind of stuff. The ATR is usually very attractive for, double bottom entries, double top entries using that lower time frame. And if you guys have got any questions or any setups that you want to look at, markets you want to look at during this session, please let us know. I'm going to make my way through the Aussie CAD, Aussie dollar, pound dollar, euro dollars, pound Aussie, pound yen, dollar yen, and New Zealand dollar in that order. And once we're done, we're done. Sometimes it takes an hour, sometimes it takes 2 hours, sometimes it can take 2.5 hours. It just depends how much is going on, how many questions you guys have got, how much you want to look at, how much we're talking about. But I just go through at pace. Okay, we've done it in under half hour before, so it just depends. Can we look at Bitcoin? Because I feel like we're racing straight down into a fiery hell. Sure. Yep, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll bring on Bitcoin in a bit. Anyone else? Duncan says pound yen is a bullish bat pattern on the 1 hour. D entry was at 2 a.m, so missed entry, but it looks like it will hit targets this morning. Yes. Yeah, that was off of the bounce. In fact, let's quickly show that. Pound yen. 1 hour. Pound yen 1 hour. Yeah, so what Duncan's looking at is this X. If you're familiar with ratio patterns or bat patterns, what Duncan is looking at is this. Anything else? Morning, Chris. On a cipher, do you adjust targets as the C to D leg continues to move beyond the completion point? Yes. I always adjust targets A to D, not C to D on ciphers. All right, cool. We'll get stuck in then. Let's get stuck in. It seems that you guys get a lot of value from these streams, so I'll continue to do them every now and then if I think that it's providing value. If it's not, then, I won't bother. But I run this thing every day anyway inside Tier 1, so it makes no difference to me to hit another stream button. It's just nicer to have a broader audience sometimes, to widen the discussion, to widen the opinions, and invite broader opinions. It's great to do that. Just before we get stuck into the markets here, Yeah, last week was a busy week, fundamentally, right? Busy week fundamentally. We had FOMC. I think we had ECB. We had some pound news. Definitely, we had we had the Canadian dollar news. We also had non-farm Friday, which is a big one. This week, it's a little bit slower. Okay, so there's CPI out. CPI is a big indicator, particularly at the moment. It's all over the place, and what CPI is a measurement of basically like gross consumers, groceries and things like that. And obviously with the prices of everything, one thing that's really interesting is we're seeing a lot of inflation, fear of inflation, energy prices, fuel costs, all the rest of it. The genius way to kind of, or the inevitable way, I should say, to cause mass inflation is to rise fuel costs. Because pretty much everything you buy, consumable goods, so if you're buying, groceries even, the packaging that the groceries come in is plastic. And plastic's made from oil, and there's fuel required to make packaging and make the plastics and make the bottles and make the, the containers and, even the things that you're buying. Fuel costs are affected by, fuel costs are used to produce that. So if you raise the fuel costs, it basically raises everything that you buy. Sorry, is the background music still on? Sorry. Sorry about that. So yeah, there's no doubt that that's going to have a big impact on the inflation. I've been over before. I did a whole workshop a couple of weeks back on the importance of getting to grips with your finances right now, because there is, I calculated with true numbers that if you don't increase your income, or you don't increase your disposable income by 20% by the end of this year, you won't be able to maintain the lifestyle you've currently got now. And that's not a lie. That's not a doom monger. That is facts. That's literally what's happening. And you don't see it because it's spread out over all these different things, like the fuel costs, for instance, right? You think, oh, fuel at the petrol pump. Oh, I just won't ride my car. Well, in actual fact, fuel is used to create everything that you buy, pretty much. And when you're wondering why why groceries are going up, then that explains it. Energy costs, same thing. Tax bills. Credit cards, loans, interest rates, all these things are like death by 1,000 cuts. And when they all go up together, you're going to realize that actually, if you don't increase your income or disposable by 20%, you are going to feel very uncomfortable by the end of the year. And it's really important that you get to grips with that now. Now, I had an email yesterday from someone going, look, man, I attended that workshop. I really wanted to, I'm really in a bad place right now. I've got this debt, that debt. I'm going through a court case. I'm trying to battle off this and battle off that. I'm really in a bad place. My boss is knocking me around and not paying me when he should be paying me and all this kind of stuff. And I'm trying to fund my FOREX account. And I'm like, what? Fund your FOREX account? That should be the last of your worries. Like, that should be, just stop doing that. Like, you are not going to be able to learn to trade consistently if you are in poverty like that. Don't do it. My message to everyone watching this is, if you are in some kind of poverty, meaning, and what poverty means is that you can't, you struggle to afford the things that you need in your life. Okay, so it's relative up the scale. You can be in poverty. If you acclimatized to a lifestyle and you can't afford it, you're in a level of poverty. Okay, if you're in a level of poverty right now, you will not be able to learn to trade. And putting money in a FOREX account is a complete waste of money. Trust me. So don't do it. Don't do it. Get close to your finances first. Save up some money. Put some into the markets passively, so you're getting your feet wet, dip your toes in, build up your immune system to risk, earn your right to risk, watch your brain come alive. Watch your brain come alive. Watch you be able to focus more, concentrate more, deal with decision-making processes better, deal with complex situations better, care more, understand more, see more opportunities. It happens. And once that happens, then you can consider learning some higher speculation strategies, right? So things like stocks, trading, all the rest of it. Until you do, because the more speculative your endeavor, the more skill is required to master that thing. And to develop a skill, you need peace of mind. You need a solid mindset. And if you're struggling to put food on the table, you are not going to learn. It's going to take you about 8 times longer. It's the very approach that you're taking is the very reason you're not going to be able to do it. So take a step back, come back next year. Honestly, there's no other, you won't see any other Forex education company talking about this stuff because they want you to just give them, they're a business that want you to give them their money so that you can go off and, they don't care once you've paid the money. We're not like that. We're playing a much longer game. We want people to build wealth and achieve financial freedom. So that's not that's not going to be your best interest, is it? It'd be stupid for me to sit here and say it is when it isn't. And when you come back in 5 years, our community's been around for years. And the reason we've been around for years is because they go, those guys, they were right. Jason was right. I can't fault what he said. There's no argument against what he said. And that's always been my goal. Thinking far into the future at someone looking back and going, that message has changed, or that's wrong what he said. No. All right. So let's get stuck in. Any questions before we start? Yes, I am drinking a sugar-free Red Bull. 7:49 a.m. I prefer it to coffee. Kicks me off the right way. Top advice. Cool. All right, let's go. Going to remove these drawing tools here, and we're going to start again. We're going to go out to the daily time frame. We're going to start out here. Lots of you guys are asking about my hair. I actually realized there's a lot of men who worry about their hair. And I had loads of messages, about 80 messages. It's about 80 messages. So I ran a Zoom call on Saturday morning, I think. Had about 20 guys, 30 guys, something like that registered for it. And yeah, it was great. I just went for a bit of a Q&A. I'm a student. Should I learn to trade? If you're a student, that's a great position to learn to trade. I'll tell you why. One, you assume you've got no dependents. You've got no overheads. Potentially live at home. Very low living costs. You've got a lot of time on your hands to dedicate, which means you'll learn faster. The next point is you're probably young and you are more money oriented than maybe someone who's 25 and above, 26 and above. So you'll be focused on making money. Maybe you've got a goal to get funded by a prop firm or something like that, or get investment. You'll be very driven to do that. You'll be focused on the percentage rather than the money. Because if you're a student, you're going to be that way. You have to be focused that way anyway. Like people who go to university for 4 years or 5 years, college, then university, then they come out and they get an accountant job. Then they're in they don't get very good money. They probably start off on 40 grand, 45 grand, 50 grand, 60 grand, and slowly it works up. So you have to have that mindset anyway. So if you've got that mindset and you've got no dependents and you live at home with your parents and you've got low living costs and no overheads and you're driven by money and you've got all the time in the world, perfect formula for learning to trade, right? Perfect. What I would say is this. You don't have to spend any money. Like, don't waste any money in the markets until you've proven to yourself that you can consistently trade profitably. And you don't need to spend any money to do that. I don't know why people are saying you need to blow money to do that. You don't. Trading's one of the least riskiest businesses if you do it properly. You've got all of the historical markets to be your market research. You know what's happened over the last long period of time. You can see patterns that happen frequently. You can build rules around those patterns. You can test those patterns. You can demo trade those patterns, and you can make sure that over a 12-month period you're profitable before you've even spent a penny. What other business do you know that's like that? There's no other business like that. The reason people don't go about it that way is because they're told that it's easy from the outset. They open an account and they're just eager to start gambling. Trading isn't gambling. It's a business. It's using an edge and a skill to play the odds to come out on top over a long period of time. Just like learning to play football, right? Takes you a while to be good at football. You learn how to play football. You play the game. You get into the Premier League. You play for a whole season to average out the points to put you at a place that ranks you in the arena. And trading is no different. It's a long period of time, and you should average out approximating a profit, basically. So, are we live trading or is this a TED Talk? It's a TED Talk. Yeah, TED Talk. Any other questions? There's a prime example, right? We're going to get trading now. What? I want to trade. Show me what to buy, what to sell. That's exactly I've seen it so many times. Duncan says students shouldn't just learn to trade. They should take the time to learn to manage a bank account and their finances. Yeah. I've told the story many times, but I met a trader in Las Vegas who worked for a prop firm. He was doing 7 figures a year. He had no money. He came to me to work. I worked with him to help him manage his wealth building. Earning money and keeping it is completely different. Look at Boris Becker. Boris Becker's just been jailed for 2.5 years for not managing wealth correctly. Now he's no better off than someone who's earned minimum wage all their life. I'd rather have minimum wage than and lose 2.5 years of my life. That's worth way more than 2 million, 3 million to me. Okay, let's get stuck in before Corwin gets the hump. The mindset is key. Yeah. It is, but no, we've got to get stuck into trades now because we've got to show you guys what to buy and what to sell. What I say is this as well. It's so ironic, isn't it, that they don't see they don't see it. All right, daily time frame. Let's go. Aussie CAD. Looking at the Aussie CAD, we've just broken this support level here. There's not really, it's not going to be the most attractive shorting opportunity for me as opposed to the Aussie dollar. I'll explain why when I get to the Aussie dollar. But the next, we do have some support levels down here. We've been ranging for a while, and then we've broken this previous low. Market's likely to test this low next at 89.74. If we drop down to the trading time frame, you're going to see that we've just put in our lower low, lower close. Now, the problem with trading this and why it isn't attractive is because this was the previous low. So if I just bring up my pencil here, this was the previous low, meaning this was the previous outside return, meaning that my stop loss, protective stop loss, ideally would have to go here on my trading time frame. Now, if I'm just shooting for this low and entering here and my stop loss is here, that's going to be an inverse risk reward profile, which I don't want to be involved with. So I can drop down to my 60-minute time frame to see if there's a confirmation of a move down there that I could get involved with closer, sooner. And the problem with that is that we put in this low here, We had this little pullback. We put in a new low, which looked like a fake break, which you want to be mindful of. And then we violated this high here. So not really interested in shorting this right now. Some of you guys might be. You might be a bit more aggressive. For me, I'd happily look for consolidation setups, but I would need more confirmation for a continuation short on this pair. Nonetheless, we'll keep an eye on it. There's no setups on this particular pair for me at the moment. I don't know if you guys have got any. If you have, let me know. If you're familiar with cipher patterns or advanced patterns, you'll see that on the 15-minute time frame, you've hit that 127 extension. So if you're familiar with a cipher pattern discovered by our very own Darren Oglesby at Tier 1, my trading partner, XABCD, there's the completion point is somewhere around here. There you go. So there's the cipher, and that's starting to roll over now. So well done if you caught that, if you're trading the day, these lower time frames. But for me, 60 is the lowest I'm going to, and there's nothing there for the Aussie CAD. Aussie dollar's a little bit different. Aussie dollar's a little bit different because we've had that confirmation down, so I'm looking to short this. Kamani says, Aussie CAD, potential cipher 4 hour, 0.9255. On the 4 hour, let's quickly take a look at the 4 hour. Yeah, that's a little way off yet, but I see the one you're looking at in here. Cool. We'll come back to that. So go out to the daily on the Aussie dollar. Daily on the Aussie dollar, and again, we've broken previous structure. Now, the reason this is more attractive to me is because it's broken this major level of previous structure. Okay, these two levels here, broken close below that. If we scroll out, you can see we've broken close below this level here, and this level here, and this level here. We've broken close below. We've only just broken close below it, so you don't want to get too excited at the moment. Again, you're gonna have to, we're gonna have to find an entry. But where's the market likely to go? If we look left, if we do continue down, where's it likely to go? Let's make a prediction based on structure. I wouldn't want to fight past 68.78 because that's where you can see we've had previous resistance. We've got all this inside structure here. We had support here, which you can't see because it's hidden behind my head. There you go. So I wouldn't want to battle beyond that, but I would happily say that we're likely to test that low. So there's the identify, bearish prediction. We've done a prediction. Now let's go and see and decide how we can get involved and short this thing. Well, 4 hours not looking too promising because, again, we need a pullback. There's a big old kill zone here, but the 60-minute time frame, we've got a nicer setup because let's just bring on our trend line. You can see that we had lower low, lower close, had a lower low, lower close here as well, had a lower low, lower close here as well. Whoops. And now we've pulled back up into this zone. So anywhere in this kill zone, anywhere in here, we could potentially look for a short. How can we get a short? How can we get a short? Couple of ways. A lower low, lower close candle, which we just didn't get. We closed on the pip. And also the lower low, lower close candle would need to be in a good reward to risk profile of a 1-to-1, which this one wasn't. The other way we can get involved is a retest. And for the retest, I can look on the 15-minute time frame because that is a time frame I can use for a lower time frame entry. And the great thing about that is I can get my stops tighter and short, right? So we could quite easily push up into this zone and get a retest here. If you've got rules for a double top, you might need RSI overbought on the first test. You might need divergence on RSI. You might, you'll have a definition of where that kill zone is. So it may or may not be valid for you, but that's a great way to enter a trade with minimal risk, great reward to risk profile, and get you into that continuation setup. So that's something I'll look at. Again, patience pays the bills in trading, so it's not there yet. Can't quite get involved yet. I just have to put this on red alert, one of the things on the watch list, and then come back to it in a bit. Let's remove the drawing tools from the pound. Go out to the daily. I got asked how long my analysis takes me. If I wasn't doing this live room, you know, I'd get through this in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. My swing trading analysis on my swing trading account takes me about 2 minutes. Probably under 2 minutes. Because all I'm doing is once I've done the initial analysis on a Sunday, which takes probably about 10 minutes as well, 15 minutes. Once I've done that initial analysis, every day after that, it's literally just scanning every night. Scanning, 27 pairs. And that doesn't take long. It's literally just, I've got a checklist, and I know what I'm looking at on the checklist on every one of the pairs. And because that's done on a daily basis, it's not a big process in one hit. It's just an update. So I'm going, right, have we got this? No. Have we got this? No. Yes, no. And that's it. It takes under 2 minutes. So, you know, if I didn't do this live room, my whole trading portfolio and the effort and the, you know, time it takes me to trade and manage my, you know, my speculation portfolio would take probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes a week. So yeah. Could you talk through the setup from last week? Maybe it was a flag pattern. Yes. Yeah. Pound dollar. Yeah, so we had a flag pattern on the pound dollar. We had this big, strong bearish momentum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bearish candles in a row. This was rolling off of a cliff. We looked at where market was likely to hold. And when we brought on our horizontal line, we were just free falling. We kind of found some support around this level here, which just so happened to be previous structure. And once we broke and closed below that, we started to form this ascending channel, which in this situation is classed as a flag pattern. So when we drop down to the trading time frame, you can see very clearly that you had a bearish flag. If you trade bearish flags on the pound dollar, you were really rubbing your palms together at this point, because we had this beautiful structure consolidation flag pattern that was really nicely respecting the highs and lows, and we pushed up to the high, tested it one more time and rolled over. So if you caught the break, well done. And now I am looking for shorts on this pair because we're likely to continue down, right? So I'm looking for shorts on the pound dollar. Where are we likely to go next? If we just scroll out, let's go back out to the daily. Come on, TradingView, load. Load. It's not loading. It's got a headache. Ugh. Anyway, we're looking for shorts. I don't know what's happening to TradingView data at the moment. There we go. We're looking for shorts. Next level of major supports here. Okay. Prediction is we're likely to test that level. We're at that level. So you want to be mindful of that. Below that, obviously, is going to be, if you're looking to short below that, the next level is down here. Let's clone this. Clone. This is a great exercise to do, by the way, just by, you know, bringing on some horizontal lines and marking out where structure is, support and resistance is. Great exercise to do on your charts. So we want to be mindful that we are at previous structure support, but we know that the lower level of, when we have close levels of structure like that, we know that the lower levels are like magnets. They're more likely to be tested. So I'm not too concerned with this level. I do have a short bias. I'm looking to get short. I'm making a prediction that we're going to test this level next, 21.86, because that's likely to happen based on probabilities. So now it's just a case of how can I how can I get involved? We've put in a lower low, lower close. We've pulled back up. The problem is we're just consolidating at the moment. So as a continuation setup, unless you do trade flags, which you might trade. What's that tool? That's the wrong tool, isn't it? You might trade flag patterns. You might be reloading on a flag, on a bearish flag. I don't trade flag patterns on the pound dollar, unfortunately. I trade them on the dollar yen. I trade them on the euro dollar. I trade them on New Zealand dollar, and I trade them on Aussie dollar, but I don't trade them on the pound dollar. If I did, this would definitely be a setup that I could potentially use to get involved in a short, but I don't have that. I don't have that in my toolbox. So how else could I get involved? Well, you know, you could use another setup and use that as an excuse, such as a pattern setup. Those of you guys who are butterfly pattern traders, very effective pattern. I met a trader in Vegas who him and his team just trade butterflies. This is actually a Gartley, deep Gartley. But there's a deep Gartley pattern there at the completion point, which means if you're getting involved at the completion point there, you could use that either conventionally for conventional targets, or you use that as your entry to the downside, and you just trail the stops behind it, and there's your excuse to enter. Other ways, if price pushes down, you've got another setup down here, which would be at the base of this flag pattern, which would also be a Gartley, and that would be in the other direction. So the great thing about having these setups in your toolbox is no matter what price does, whatever way it goes, you've got a high probability setup, high probability play to make money in your toolbox. And you just sit there waiting. And if price pushes up, you've got an entry. And if price pushes down, you've got an entry. So it's good to have some form of consolidation strategy in your toolbox so that you can play them during these momentary consolidation periods, because the Forex market is in some form of consolidation 70 to 80% of the time. Raj says, how many pairs should I consider trading? As many as you feel comfortable. When you're looking to learn to trade or build a portfolio, you're either going to trade multiple strategies on few pairs, or you trade few strategies on multiple pairs. All right, but if you're just starting off, my advice is to just trade one strategy on, a handful of pairs, or just trade, a couple of strategies on a few less pairs. Don't overwhelm yourself. There's if you started a business tomorrow, think of the markets like your employees. If they've all got different personalities, they all behave different ways, they've all got different strengths and weaknesses in different market situations. If you was to start a normal business tomorrow, would you employ 20 people on day one? And do you think you'd be able to manage it all and, make sure it's all running smoothly? Absolutely not. No way. You'd implode. So treat your trading the same way. Build the business sustainably, build systems, build automations, then recruit, right? When it's second nature, then recruit. That's the best way. So consolidation period on the pound dollar, looking for a couple of pattern setups which might complete, or a breakout of this flag. If we break out the flag, I could potentially get a short later on today, but not too much right now. In the New York session, that might come alive, and most of my setups are likely to play out in the New York session. That's why I love the London session, because you can really get ahead of the market. You put all the, do all the analysis, get ahead of the game, know your setups, form your watch list, and then you just come into the New York session prepared. And you're just like, right, let's go. Let's place some orders. Let's get some, let's make some money. Rather than having to do all that during the New York session. That's the advantage, in my opinion, that we have, being able to trade the New York session. So if you're in, Australia, New Zealand, Asia, UK, Europe, you've got that advantage as opposed to being in the US where you're asleep during the London session, unless you get up very, very early. like Darren. Don't think Darren sleeps, actually. I think he's a robot. I think he's a cyborg. All right. Let's go to the euro then. Oh, one thing I'll mention on the pound dollar again. Sorry, the other way that you could short this. So the other way that you might already be short is the FTB. I forgot to mention it because I mentioned it at the beginning. This is an FTB candle here. This right here is an FTB. So what you would have done is you would have waited for that signal, and then you would have entered your sell stop order a couple of pips below the low, and the next candle would have triggered you into that trade. Right? Motivator quote says, I have $90. How many lot size should I trade? I would just say don't bother trading with $90. You're going to pay commissions to the broker. It's not going to be, $90 to produce, you're just not going to have the motivation to put that level of effort and skill into trading for the return that you're going to get. You need to, $90 is not going to motivate you to, let's just say, right, let's just say you've got a $90 account, okay? Let's just say you've got a $90 account, right? And let's just say that you are able to do 4% per month, which is absolutely phenomenal in trading. So 4% per month, right? And if you didn't take any withdrawals from that, that 4% per month would compound out at around 61, 62% for the year. Okay, if you kept reinvesting, that would compound out to about 60% per year. Let's round it off to 60. 90 plus 60%, okay, would give you about £54. Right? Now, you divide 54 by 12, that's £12 or $12 per month on average over a 12-month period. To get that $12, you've got to generate 4% a month, and the amount of time and effort and skill required to generate 4% per month is not going to be worth that. Make sense? Because you can get $12 an hour or $10 an hour doing anything. Like, you can go and when it comes to trading, people seem to lose common sense on their time. And it's more ego that they want to be able to be a trader than giving it thought process into what is my life going to be like once I can generate a profit here. Same thing with any business, right? I see people start a sandwich shop and they think, I'm going to be a really good sandwich maker. I open a sandwich shop, and then they become so focused on making money in the sandwich shop, they didn't once give a thought to them having to stand in a shop 7 days a week or 6 days a week and cleaning up and being there, missing weekends, just to earn like 60 quid a day. And then and if that's worth it to them, great. But usually they think, this isn't worth my time. But it takes up to that point to realize this is a mistake. They were so obsessed and focused on being a profitable business owner that they forgot to build something that actually benefited their life. And it's ego. So don't be so obsessed with being a trader if you haven't thought out, actually, what is this going to look like? Now, on the flip side to that, if you've got $90, okay, and you want to put it into an account and you want to prove you can generate a nice, consistent, smooth equity curve, and you want to be able to generate 2, 3, 4% per month, and you want to demonstrate that to a prop firm or investors to get investment, great. That can pay off for you. But just understand that that's what you're looking at. So if it's for you, I wouldn't even bother. I would put the money in, just leave the money, focus on trading, focus on serving people, build up the income, put the income into the account, you know, instead of saving, put it straight into your, you know, into your trading account every month, go and serve some people for a year, then come back. Right? You're going to have to get good at business and serving and earning money. It's hard, like, for people to listen to me because I appreciate that I don't sugarcoat anything. But if you've only got $90 to your name, the chances are you haven't had experience serving people or bringing money out of the economy yet. And that's absolutely fine. But what makes you think you're going to be able to handle large quantities of money coming out of the markets, even if you do get funded, if you've never had that experience before? All things that traders don't think about. And they wonder why the psychology is so hard in trading. It doesn't need to be. If you just have foresight and you have a bit of, you know, time and space horizons, a bit broader time and space horizons, and you can think into the future about what my life will look like, you don't, you know, you don't come unstuck, basically. What is an FTB? I'm going into TED Talk again. Watch out, because what's his name will be, he might unsubscribe. Corwin. Don't want to upset Corwin Storm. What is FTB candle? FTB candle is a FTB candle is a bearish setup that we play into the London session across to the New York session. So the signal sets up, it's a bearish indicator, and then we set up our move for fear-driven sellers and catch that move into the New York session. There are various ways of trading of what makes a valid setup, because I need 2 bullish candles in a row prior. So this one wouldn't have met the rules, but this is a nice setup and it's playing out in this instance. And those of you guys who trade this in tier 1 on the pound, 1 on the dollar, nice. So yeah, so to answer your question, I hope you don't think I'm being, you know, I'm not being a doom monger. I like people to have realistic, I don't want people to waste their time. You know, even on that 54, let's just say that you got 54 pounds over the year, right? Here's a question for the guy on Motivator Quotes. How much would you love to make in trading? What would be your ideal lifestyle costs? What would be your ideal lifestyle? How much? What would you love to make in trading that would, you know, pay for whatever living costs you want to fund with your trading account? Let me know. Let me know. And we'll get stuck into the euro dollar, and then we'll take a quick coffee refill. Euro dollar is flatlining at the moment. So we've had a lower close on the euro dollar. Again, there's an FTB set up there, but looking at the euro, we've broken close below this major structure support level at 0.638. Next level we've broken for as well. We're currently at this level, but the chances are we're going to test the lowest low. There'll be a beautiful reversal set up there, potentially. Okay, I'll be definitely looking at a buying opportunity down here at 0.394. In fact, just a little bit higher than that, 1.04. I'll be looking at a buying opportunity as a structure-based setup, or reversal, head and shoulders, double bottom, 26.18. I'll be looking for all of those types of reversals down here. Until we get down there, I'm predicting a short. So I'm predicting that we are going to test that level. So how can I short, right? Nikki Pandini says 100 million. You need 100 million a year. You want to spend 100 million a year. It's unrealistic. People don't, you know that it's been proven that anything above £68,000, which is about, let's just say, I don't know, let's just say $90,000, $80,000, or let's just say $100,000. Anything above $100,000 per year will not make a difference to your life, you know, in terms of happiness, fulfillment, all the rest of it. Most successful people that I know, multimillionaires, their income, max income, is about $220, $250 per year. Anything above that, it's you know, and most of that, 33% goes on a nice house, 33% goes on travel, and then 33% goes on living. 100 million a year is not, it's not realistic. So the first step is to get clear about a realistic life. Otherwise, you're just going to beat yourself up even more about your trading. $500 a day would be nice. Yeah, that's realistic, right? That's realistic. But let's just say you want $500 a day. Okay. And let's just say it's 5 days a week. Okay. So let's just say a normal work week, and you're going to do, I don't know, what is it? 240 days, something like that. So Monday to Friday, so about 120 grand. Then you got a tax bill. Okay. And then you've got a profit margin. Let's just say 90% profit margin, right? That means you need to earn a lot more. 120,000 divided by 0.7 for tax, say, divided by 0.9 profit margin, 190 grand. So to earn 120, you got to earn 190, but then you got inflation and profit margin. So you don't want to take out 50% of the profit, right? You don't want to take out more than 50% of the profit because you want the account to still grow. So let's just say 80 grand profit per year. So yeah, you're going to need, let's just say, whatever your return is per year. Let's just say you do really well and you do 40% per year, right? 40%, you do 0.4%. You're going to need about 500,000 trading account. Now, if you've got 475 grand equity in your house and you're confident you can go and do it, there's an option for you. Then you got your 500 a day from trading, doing 40% a year, if you can do 40% a year. Yeah, get into tough, I know. If you, look, go and do, if you're really struggling with this stuff, right? I recommend you go and do this. There's a free 7-day, oops, that's the wrong thing. Ignore that. There. Go and do that training. 7 days, 7 videos. It's going to teach you start to finish what you need to do. Completely free. No contact, no phone calls, no emails, like selling you stuff. It'll just be 7 days training. Go and do it. Putting your house on the line is just gambling. Well, it's not gambling if you're not gambling. It's not gambling if you're not gambling. Gambling is an approach and it's a decision. Building a business is a decision and an approach. You know, when you, who's been to a casino here in Vegas or anywhere? There's all lots of people playing the different fruit machines, right? all playing the different roulette table, blackjack, going from machine to machine to machine, having a bit of fun. When you look over at the poker table, at the tournament table, it's the same people every night. How are they on that table every night? Because it's a different approach. Different approach. It's a business to them. They're not gambling. They've decided not to gamble. They've decided to try and beat the house. It's considered gambling, yeah, because you can't tax it because it's, it's considered gambling, right? But it's not. It's an approach. Your gambling is your choice to approach a market a certain way. You're as dumb as a rock. I feel bad for your wife and kids. Who gamble their house? I would never gamble my house. I would never gamble anything. I take risks. And my risk taking has kind of paid off. Euro dollar. So predicting a move down to here, right? How can we short and then how can we get long at that level? That's the two. And that's the adaptation of my trading style. I'll be looking to short now and I'll be looking to buy here. All right. So there's a couple of opportunities there. So in the meantime, I'm looking to sell. How can I sell? Same as the pound dollar, we're in this consolidation zone. Okay. So we're just in this structure consolidation zone at the moment. And a couple of pattern setups potentially. An FTB signal on the hourly, as I've shown you guys already. And that's about it. If you trade flag patterns, this might be a valid flag pattern for you. If not, X, A, B, C, D. Gartley pattern completion right at the top of this channel. That could be your entry into a short to the downside. And that's something I'll be looking at later on if we push up that far. Pikachu. Is that your name? You need therapy before you go break? Oh man, look, don't worry about it. Worry about you. I'll never go broke because of how I've managed my wealth. I teach this stuff on a daily. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. 20 to 40% a year is a realistic goal on a winning year. Should be right. 20 to 40% a year is the realistic goal. Yeah, a monthly return is great to calculate, but you want to focus on an average over the year. Okay, because you're going to have winning weeks, losing weeks. You're going to have losing months. And over a long period of time, you want to average out the performance per month. So I would always go on an annual percentage. And look, if you're doing 2% per month, 3% per month, you're looking at anything between 20 and 40% a year. If you're not taking withdrawals, that's compounded out as well. So yeah. Here's the thing, right? With a savings account, you're going to do 0.5% per year. Okay? With a high interest savings account, you might do 1% per year. With passively investing your money into the markets autonomously into an index fund, you're going to do 10% per year. If you go and learn how to buy stocks, large cap stocks, you can do anything from 15 to 18, maybe 20% per year. And over a long period of time, some people are going to say, I did 70%, I did 68% on Moderna last year. Well, yeah, over a long period of time, you won't do that. Okay? I'm always focused on a long period of time. So if you then go and learn to trade and you can notch up your overall performance to like 18, 20% per year, that's great. That's great. You're doing better than anyone. How come every US dollar currencies end up affecting currencies like Euro yen, Aussie yen, and more? Duncan says, wow, this YouTube crowd is awesome. The dollar is still considered the base currency of the world. Okay, so when everyone is when the crap's hitting the fan, people tend to go and buy the dollar. Interesting discussions. My new hairstyle suits you? Yeah, this is a temporary hairstyle, by the way. Although I quite like it, I might keep it. Felt cute, might delete later. All right, let's have a quick coffee refill then, and we'll get stuck into the pound, Aussie pound, yen, dollar, yen, New Zealand dollar when we come back. If you've got any questions in the break, fire them in. And I'll see you in 13 minutes. We'll be back at 8:46.
Take me in slow, breathe me in and let me go. Filling the lungs inside you. In the blackened eyes, make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control. Let the darkness take control. Darkness take control. May the darkness take control. Take me in the smoke, breathe me in and let me go. Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Teardrops on the floor. The pain is over. Feel the darkness take control. Darkness take control.
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want now. This ain't what you want. Who alive can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I whip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a scotch bunny. Don't try studying me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
when I start rapping, way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious, release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blow me, that head missing. I'm a phenomenon, stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn, and I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's Ramadan. Sick, twisted, gifted, can't copy, printed, can't hold me down. I shape shift, I'm liquid. I killed this beat, I might get convicted. They know how I move, it was predicted. Persistent, spoke it into existence, so consistent, no assistance. Hear me once, become addicted. If I rap it, then I live it. There's no cap when I be breaking this.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
All right, guys, welcome back to the live trading room. It's not quite 8:46 yet, but we will we'll kick off in just a sec. Part 2. Before the break, we went through Aussie CAD, Aussie dollar, pound dollar, euro dollar, and there was a few things to pay attention to. Shorting opportunity on the Aussie CAD that wasn't really attractive to me. Aussie dollar was more attractive, but we're going to have to be a little bit more patient to wait for the entry on that. Pound dollar, there was an FTB set up and a bearish flag. Euro dollar, FTB set up, bearish flag, and a Gartley short. So lots of opportunity there to short those two markets. FTB on both of those. Now we're going to go into the bigger stuff. Pound Aussie, pound yen. Go out to the daily and just kind of reiterate what I said earlier about the bounce off of this support level. Really nice play there. On the 60-minute, you had the higher close entry. So the 3-bar reversal right here at 72.93. And then you was away for a retest of the highs. So I think that's all played out now. I think you guys have had your money off the table. Yep. And just as we tested that high, is, previous structure resistance. You might even be looking to short this now. So if you're a structure-based trader, you might be looking up at this high and going, right, there's another 3-bar reversal here. I'm going to short this back down. And then every time you test this level, look, 3-bar reversal right here, you short down, 3-bar reversal right here, you go long, 3-bar reversal right here, you go short, and so on until you eventually get stopped out. But, 3 to 1, 3 trades for 1. Or you're right twice and wrong once, still not bad. Any chance of working for a hedge fund or risk fund? Who are you? What are you asking in general? Of course you can. Go and apply. Go and apply. There's plenty of them. There's plenty of them. What is that soundtrack? Banging tune? Sounds like a JG soundtrack. It's actually not one of mine, no. Not one of mine. I'm playing some non-copyright music for the coffee break. Speaking of coffee break, the trader coffee break is back tomorrow. So myself and Akil are back round the water cooler, back round the coffee machine for some trading ranting topics. So if you want to really immerse yourself in trading, get into the coffee break. It's the Trader Coffee Break. It's a YouTube channel. Type that in. Go and subscribe. Fantastic resource for trader education. Cool. All right. So pound Aussie, we've bounced off of the support level. We're now retesting the resistance level on this channel. There's your 3-bar reversal for the entry short. What else is there here? How else can you get involved here? Well, there's not really a lot there, is there? Because one, you don't really want to short right now. Maybe if we retest this high. So if we retest the high, you're going to get a more conservative entry. However, it'll be a more, the risk reward profile, depending on how you take your targets on a retest, might not be as attractive, but the probability will be higher. The strike rate will be higher of the trade potentially. So if we can get another test here, there will be your double top. We've got RSI oversold here. We've got divergence on the RSI if we retest it potentially. And then we can look to short that to the downside. And you either short for targets down at the lows again. Remember, we're overall bearish. Or you just take targets at inside structure levels, or maybe even the retracement, and get a quick in-out setup. So again, patience pays the bills. This is something I'm looking at. I'm going to wait and see what price does in the New York session before I involve myself in that, and then see if I can get involved. So there's 4 setups that I'm looking at the moment. 4 setups that I'm personally looking at. And then the pound yen, I'm also, anyone who knows me and my history with head and shoulders setups, pound yen's the best pair for head and shoulders for me, for what I've found. And when we look at head and shoulders setups on the pound yen, they have a very, very high strike rate, very predictable. And if we can break this neckline, I'll be very interested in looking for a short on this pair. I will need a pullback to the neckline. That's the style of my, my head and shoulders, but there's potentially a nice setup here. We've got a nice horizontal head and shoulders setup. We respected the shoulder level, respected the neckline. And if we break and close below this neckline, then I'll be looking for a pullback and a test of the neckline. And as long as the candle tests the neckline, I can put an ATR-based stop above the high of whatever candle tests it and then look to short it. The conventional way of trading head and shoulders is to actually trade the break. So the conventional way of trading it is to trade the break and your stop goes above the high and then your target is a 1-to-1. That's the conventional way of trading a head and shoulders. Taking a 950 pip risk is not my style. So, not something I'm going to be looking at. Lower time frame or kind of more intraday stuff. Still moving sideways, right? Still moving sideways. Sideways movement breeds advanced patterns, ratio patterns, things like that. So you might be looking at an advanced pattern in here. This little tool here, this XABCD tool, you start drawing this on, it's going to show you all of these nice little Gartley setups that could play out along the way. I keep itching my head, it keeps itching. So they've taken hairs from the side and back and they've plugged them in all over my head. And actually the top isn't the itchy bit, it's where they've taken the hairs from is the itchy bit. So if I keep itching my head, I apologize, but all for the price of vanity, eh? I trade the break with an ATR above the break candle. Cool. Yep. What if it breaks that level high? Any chance of working ahead? I've seen all these. Okay, cool. So there's a setup on the pound yen. Other than that, need the New York session to shake this into life a little bit. Let's talk about the dollar yen. Really nice setup here. Let's go out to what we was looking at last week. Did anyone catch this, by the way? I know a couple of our tier 1 traders caught this. I'm going to go out to the monthly. There's a couple of really nice areas here, right? This one up here, I'm going to draw on 2 horizontal lines in this zone here. Okay, so this zone right here would be very, very attractive for a short. Okay, very attractive for a short. Obviously, the higher level even more. But look, we haven't been this high since April 2002. So exactly 20 years ago today is the last time we traded at this price. Not only that, we've had these massive bullish candles, right? Pushing up and tested tested this level. So we've had these big bullish candles pushing up to the moon, and we are approaching this previous structure resistance level in 2002. In fact, it was January, February 2002 where we saw the highs of that candle. That was the month. January and February, we saw the highs of, 135.1. 135.1. We haven't been that high since then, 20 years ago. If we test this level, I think you can all agree that there is a high probability that we're going to see a really nice shorting opportunity there. And if we continue like this, we've put in no structure on the way up here. The potential profit, even if you're conservative and you're pushing, you don't want to push beyond these inside structure resistance levels, even if you're taking targets here, that is potentially, let's just say you get involved at the worst case and you enter and you take targets down here. That's a 622 pip move, which I'd be happy with. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you'd be happy. I definitely wouldn't be sniffing at that. In the meantime, let's just go to the weekly. If we go out to the weekly, the reason we was looking at this on the weekly is because it was really the start of this previous... we had this kind of inside structure level here, and what some of you guys were looking at last week, and I actually took this trade in the room, but what you was looking at last week is this exhaustion. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with a 10 weeks of bullish movement. Went out to the daily, started to see that level be kind of hit like a wall. And some of you are looking at shorting this right now. So some of you are looking at this as a retest. So we've got our initial test. We've got our second test. Unfortunately, RSI didn't go overbought here on the first test. You do have some divergence. He actually sold dollar yen this morning, says Mohammed. Good luck. I hope it goes in your favor. We've got a really nice pin bar on the second level there. The idea is that if you're looking to short this, you'd be looking at getting in pretty much anywhere around where we're trading right now and looking to short that down. Again, I wouldn't be looking to short below this level here, 126.98. In fact, I get a couple of pips above that 127 flat level. So 127 flat, depending on where you get in. If you got in above this double top, let's just say you entered here and your stops went ATR above the high, say, you're still getting a really nice, maybe a 2-to-1 reward to risk profile, which is pretty decent. Right. And yeah, pretty decent. Still pretty big on the terms of the old risk. But let's go down to the 4 hour and see if there's a tighter entry here. Not going to be. I don't know if you guys trade ciphers, but that was what we was looking at last week. So the cipher pattern was the excuse for entry: X, A, B, C, D. And the cipher pattern was the excuse to enter. So if you guys took that, you're in it, and maybe you're taking conventional targets which have already been hit, or maybe use this as a bit more of an aggressive short into the trade. But either way, well done. And other than that, now it's just, you're either entering or you're not, or you're waiting for a push up to this level and looking to short up here. But for me, there's no continuation set up here. There's no flag breakout. There's no compression channel. The compression channel we took last week was this one. So this is very similar to what I've shown you guys on my Bitcoin and things like that, where we had the dip down, 20% dip down, 50% increase, rally to the high. That was very, very textbook. And yeah, right now we're just in a state of flux. I actually have sold. Cool. All right. So that just leaves New Zealand dollar. And New Zealand dollar, I'm actually looking to short. This has been the worst pair for me this year. And when I say worse, I mean it's had the least opportunities. It started off well in January, February, and then it just died. It hasn't. There's been nothing on this I've been interested in. So now we've actually had this fake break. What normally happens following this fake break? We see a rollover, because this is basically a signal to say this is a fake move. Had a big push up. Next candle opens. We push all the way back down to where we left off. We normally see a rollover following that type of move. Great. Where is it likely to go to next? Well, if we look left and we bring on our horizontal line, if we look at some of the inside structure levels, yeah, we're approaching this inside structure level here, but looking left, it might find some support down at 61.80, and we haven't tested either of those yet. So I'm looking to short. My bias is short. My prediction is made. How can I decide to get involved in this? Well, I just need a pullback, right? I need a pullback into structure. Here's the previous outside return. Let's drop down to the 60 actually to see if there's anything in the meantime. So yeah, 60 is going to be more promising. And here's what I'm looking at. Here's what I'm looking at. We've got our lower low, lower close. We've got our pullback. This is actually a complex pullback at the moment, and there's going to be a few ways we can involve ourselves in this. The first thing you want to do is think like as many other traders as possible to draw out a kill zone that's got the highest probability of a reaction, a rollover. Okay. Now, if you're not just a basic trend continuation trader, in which case you'd just be looking for somewhere in this zone for a lower low, lower close, or maybe just an aggressive limit order. As long as you get a 1-to-1, you might be looking to short up in this zone. I have a 4-position kill zone technique for my trend continuation. So this is zone 1, zone 2 is the big one, and zone 3 is here, and then zone 4 would be a pattern trade. So I've got 4 ways of attacking that. But some of you might be more of a CTS approach, or you might be using a fib inversion or something like that. And what I mean by that is you're looking at this complex pullback and you're trying to identify or narrow down a kill zone that provides the highest probability of a reaction, trying to think like as many traders as possible. So the first thing you can do is bring on an equal measured move, and you can see that lines up perfectly in the top of that kill zone. Okay, so we've got an equal measured move. All right, an ABCD pattern. So all the traders looking to short ABCD patterns, that's where they're looking. The next thing you might do is bring on some Fibonacci ratios and see if there's any confluence there. A nice little cluster, and you can see the fib inversion trade lines up perfectly with that equal measured move. So we've got a fib inversion set up, bang on the equal measured move, bang on the third chance kill zone, which is previous structure resistance. Okay, now what else can you do? Let's bring on a fib extension and go from the low to the top of this complex pullback and back down. And you've got a 1414 lining up perfectly with that zone as well. So let me just bring in a horizontal line tool here and bang this straight into our little kill zone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do away with this, and I'm going to do away with this, and I'm going to start tightening up this. Right, we've got our fib inversion set up, we've got our fib cluster, we've got our fib confluence there. Let's bring on a fib retracement and go from the previous high down to this low, and you can see that we've got the 50% lining up there as well. So now we've got more fib confluence, we've got an equal measured move, we've got structure, we've got a kill zone, we've got a fib inversion set up. So it starts to build confluence. Okay, and I know this looks like a mess, but the idea is you're trying to narrow down and identify the highest probability zone for a rollover here. Now, depending on how much confluence you get and how much confidence you get, you might just increase your aggression on the entry. So whereas before you might wait for a double top, now you might be able to just take a limit order. You might be able to just trade a limit order. Cool. So that's the New Zealand dollar, and that's what we're looking at. That's what I'm going to be looking to short. So if we can push up to this zone, I can look to short. Now the last way that you can involve yourself in this is X, A, B, C, D. Right in that zone, because we've got the 127 here, we've got a Gartley set up. Which is quite a deep Gartley, and that's going to be a limit order entry there as well. So lots and lots of confluence, lots of ways to get involved. We just got to be patient and wait for price to push up there. If it doesn't and it rolls over, then oh well. All right. So that wraps it up. We've got Aussie CAD, Aussie dollar looking to short, need a bit of patience. Pound dollar, bearish flag. Euro dollar, bearish flag, and an FTB, as well as the pound dollar FTB, and a Gartley setup. Pound Aussie looking to short, just need a retest. Pound yen, not too much there at the moment. Dollar yen, structure rollover. New Zealand dollar, nice looking short continuation. So lots of stuff to look out for. What we're going to do now is we're going to wrap it up there. Been going for about an hour and 35 minutes, something like that. We're going to get into a kills session at 12:30, so we can go over all this again and really be immersed in the markets, catch some of these moves. I'll update you guys inside the tier 1 platform with what I'm doing and what I'm looking at. And if you enjoy this stream, guys, let us know. Subscribe to the channel, share the channel, comment on in the comments. And you tier 1 trading guys, I'll see you back here tomorrow to do this all over again. Be careful in the markets. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you then.